Yeah, hello everyone. Once again, thank you for joining this webinar with me. So I'm Nivas from Vembu Technologies. So I'm working as a senior product analyst at Vembu for more than 5 years. So I'm the organizer for this webinar. I'm also having Mr. Pranav. So he's another senior product analyst from Vembu. So he's a co-organizer for this webinar. Okay. So yeah, with that, let's just get started. So before getting into this webinar session, so I would like to let you know the ground rules for this webinar. So yeah, the first one is all the attendees are in listen only mode. So if any new attendees join in the session, so they are in listen only mode. If you have any questions, so we have a question and answer box in this meeting session. So you just type in your questions. So Pranav or any of the colleagues from Vembu will try to answer your question immediately. So if you are not able to answer your question immediately during the session, don't worry. So we will drop an email to you with all of our responses. Okay. And yeah, so this session is currently being recorded. So you can get the recorded copy of this webinar in another 1 or 2 days in our website. You just go to vembu.com and in the recorded means the previous webinar section, so you can find this recorded copy. Okay. Yeah, so with this we'll get started. Before getting into this, I'd just like to give a small introduction about the Vembu Technologies. So we are the company founded in the year 2002 and we are headquartered in United States. Okay, so we have offices in US, UK and India. So the development operations, like all the operations like the development testings are happening from India. Okay, and we currently set our footprint over 100+ countries. So people from 100+ countries are trusting Vembu BDR suite to protect their business critical data. Currently 60,000+ businesses across the globe use Vembu BDR to back up their the critical workloads, the physical or virtual workloads. So they're using Vembu to back up it. So with this, we'll directly jump into the topic of today's webinar. So today's topic is what's new in Vembu BDR suite version 5.0 RC. Okay, so it has been a year Vembu started working on this new version 5.0. Yeah, so yeah, we previously released beta, so some of you already joined this beta webinar. So now the RC, the release candidate of Vembu BDR suite version 5.0 is available for the production use. So if you want to use the version 5.0, so you can just go to the vembu.com, so you can download and you can use it for the production use. And yeah, as this is a release candidate, so if you can just go with only for the fresh installation. So the upgrade is not supported in this build. However, so we are going to release the GA of version 5.0. That's a generally available version of Vembu 5.0 will be available in a couple of weeks. So once it is ready, so you can also upgrade your older version of Vembu BDR suite to the latest version. Okay, so yeah, so we'll just directly get into this topic. So we'll see what are the new features and functionalities that are coming in this version 5.0. Okay. Yeah, so this is the agenda for today's webinar. So I'm just going to give a small introduction about the Vembu BDR suite of products. So this is for the new attendees to this webinar. So I just want to give a small introduction about the Vembu BDR suite. Then I'm going to give a small overview of the features, the top features of Vembu BDR suite and the new features and functionalities that are coming in version 5.0. And yeah, at the end, so I have a small demo setup with me. So I would like to show you how the Vembu BDR suite works. Okay. So this is the agenda for this webinar. So yeah, so there is going to be a small presentation, like it take another 10 minutes presentation, followed by the 15 or 20 minutes of live demonstration. Okay. So yeah, so Vembu is having two product lines. The first one is the Vembu BDR suite of products, and the second one is the Vembu Cloud BDR suite of products. So the Vembu BDR suite is a portfolio of product, and it's primarily designed for the users who want to store the backup data in their on-premise storages. Okay, so you can use any storage medium to store your backup data. It can be a local drive or a NAS or a SAN drive, whatever it is, you can use BDR to store your backup data locally. Then optionally, you can send a copy of backup data to an offsite data center. If you have any offsite data center, you can send a copy of backup data over there, or you can send a copy of backup data to Vembu Cloud. Okay, this is for the DR purposes. Okay, let's see what are the solutions that we offer under this Vembu BDR suite. So this Vembu BDR suite offer tons of solutions. Like you can see, it offers backup and replication for the VMware virtual machine. It's a purely an agentless backup and replication solution. Without installing any agent inside your VM, you can take a backup or replicate the virtual machines from one ESXi to another ESXi host. And then we have a backup and replication for the Hyper-V VMs. So if you have a Hyper-V virtual machines in a standalone Hyper-V server or in a cluster or an SMB, so you can take a backup of these VMs without installing any agent inside these VM. And yeah, next is the backup for Microsoft Windows. So if you have a Windows servers or workstation, so if you want to back up the entire image of these servers or workstations, so you can do it using the backup for Microsoft Windows. Yeah, the first three, VMware, Hyper-V, and Microsoft Windows, or image-based backup solution that will back up everything, that including the operating system, the files and folders, application data, everything will be backed up. And yeah, so the first three supports granular recovery. So if in case you're backing up the entire virtual machines or physical machine, just in case if you want to recover a particular files and folders or applications or application items, so you can perform this granular recovery, and you can perform this instant recovery. If something goes wrong, if you just want to instantly boot this backup data, you can do it using so yeah, if you have this Hyper-V or VMware or KVM role enabled in your backup server or in a remote VMware, so you can use and you can perform this instant boot. And this also support cross hypervisor and cross platform migration. Like you take a backup of VMware virtual machine and migrate to Hyper-V, or Hyper-V virtual machines to KVM or any other hypervisor of your choice. And yeah, so if you back up your physical machine, so you can migrate the physical Windows servers or workstations to this hypervisor platforms. So this is the key features of the VMware, Hyper-V, and Microsoft Windows. Then we have a backup solution for AWS. So if you have a EC2 instance running on AWS, if you want to protect them by taking a backup, so you can do it using Vembu backup for AWS. Again, it is a cloud native backup solution. Without installing any agent inside your EC2 instances, you can take a backup of it. Okay, next we have a backup solution for Microsoft 365. So you can back up your mailbox, contacts, calendars, your critical files and folders from OneDrive. So you can back up your SharePoint online, Teams online, group mailbox. So everything you can back up. And the good thing is you can take a backup of it and store this backup data into the local storage repository. If something goes wrong, so you can just restore the items to the same user account or different user account. Okay, and yeah, it also supports downloading this mailbox in the PST format, so you can just download and keep it in your local drive or a different in a different repository, or yes, you can use any other tool to import to different mail servers. Okay. And then we have this backup for Google Workspace. Yeah, it is similar like Microsoft 365. Here you can back up your Google mailbox, contacts, calendars, and the files and folders from Google Drive. Okay, and this is for the SaaS application. Next, for endpoints, so we also support endpoints. So for endpoint, you can back up your file servers. Like if you want to back up your servers, like if you want to back up your files and folders from Windows servers or Linux servers, you can just take a backup of it. It's a file level backup. You can just back up only the files and folders and store it in a different repository. If something goes wrong, you'll be able to restore the files and folders from Vembu. That's the backup for file servers. Then we support backup for endpoints. So if you have a Windows or Mac workstations, so you can just take a backup of the critical files and folders from these workstations. Then we have a backup support for application. So it is a granular application level backup. So if you just want to back up only the application and application data, so instead of backing up an entire computer, then you can go for the application level backup of Vembu. So here you can take a backup of an Exchange server or MySQL, MS SQL, SharePoint and Outlook. So if you have any of these 5 applications, you can granularly take a backup of these and store the backup data onto the local storage repository. So this is the Vembu BDR suite. And yeah, so as I said, so it is an add-on of the Vembu BDR suite. So in the primary backup server, you'll store the first copy of the backup data. If you want to send a copy of backup data to an offsite data center or a cloud, so you can opt for the Vembu's offsite setup. So Vembu offers DR copy in 2 ways. The first one is the Vembu offsite DR, and the second one is the Vembu cloud DR. So Vembu offsite DR means if you have another data center in a different region, you can set up this Vembu offsite DR server, and you can replicate a copy of backup data from the Vembu primary backup server to this offsite server. If something goes wrong, you can just log into Vembu offsite DR server and you'll be able to restore the data directly from there. Or else if you cannot set up an offsite location, or if you want to set up a hybrid deployment where you want to have one copy at local and the second copy to cloud, yes, you can do it by using Vembu Cloud DR. So this is a disaster recovery service from Vembu. So we have a cloud. We have the cloud servers running on AWS. Yeah, so this Vembu Cloud is built on AWS. So using this, you can replicate a copy of backup data to Vembu Cloud. So if something goes wrong with the primary backup server, you don't need to worry. You just log into Vembu Cloud and you'll be able to restore the backup data directly from there. Okay, so this is the Vembu Cloud DR. Okay, so this is the add-on of the Vembu BDR suite of products. And so this is the architecture. So here you can see the primary component of Vembu BDR suite is the Vembu BDR backup server. So this is the primary component. So this Vembu BDR backup server, you can deploy it on one of your Windows server. After installing it, so you can set up a storage medium to store the backup data. Once you install this application and configure the storage repository, you are good to go with configuring the backup jobs. So you can agentlessly configure the backup for the VMware and Hyper-V virtual machines. So you can configure the backup for the Windows servers and workstations. You can configure the backup for the AWS EC2 instances. You can configure the backup for Microsoft and Google Workspaces, all from this Vembu BDR backup server interface itself. However, if you just want to back up your file servers or endpoints application, Vembu provide BDR clients. So you have to just download this BDR client and install it on the file server or endpoint computers and take a backup. Again, all the backup data will go and get stored in the storage repository that is attached to the Vembu BDR server. Okay, so this is the primary copy. So once the data comes here, then you have this option. If you want, you can set up offsite DR server and send a secondary copy to this offsite DR server, or you can send a copy to the Vembu Cloud DR. Okay, and yeah, so so all this, the licensing of all the products is managed by this Vembu portal. So you have to connect your backup server to the Vembu portal, and you can manage all the licenses. If you have multiple backup servers also, you can just connect everything to a single portal, and you can manage the license of all the servers and all the components from a single centralized portal. So this is the architecture of Vembu BDR. So I hope everyone is clear with the product offerings and the add-ons on the architecture. So now we'll go and see the next product line. So that is the Vembu Cloud BDR suite. Actually, so this is a kind of service from Vembu where if you don't want to store a copy of backup data into an on-premise storage repository, or if you're looking for a direct cloud backup solution, then Vembu Cloud BDR Suite is the right choice. So you don't need to install any local server, or you don't need to maintain any local server here. You just go to vembu.com, click on this Vembu Cloud BDR Suite, create an account for you. Once the account is created, it's a separate user interface. It's a cloud-based user interface. So you can just log into this Cloud BDR server, and yeah, you can configure the backup for your endpoints or AWS or Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace. Okay, again, all you can do it from the Cloud BDR Suite user interface. Okay, so this is the second product line. Yeah, here we support backup of file servers, endpoints, and applications. So we'll provide a BDR clients. So you have to download and install the agent on these clients. So when you configure the backup through these BDR client, the data will directly go and get stored in the Vembu Cloud. And other backups like AWS or Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace, you can configure the backup from the Cloud BDR server UI itself. So this is how the Cloud BDR Suite works. And yeah, so let's see the main features of the Vembu BDR Suite and the Cloud BDR Suite of products. So first one, the recovery point objective and the recovery time objective of Vembu is 15 minutes. So that means every 15 minutes, so you'll be able to run an incremental backup for your VMware virtual machines or Hyper-V virtual machines or physical servers. And yeah, if something goes wrong, within 15 minutes of time, you will be able to restore the backup data and you will have access to your backup. So you can just pin. So we have multiple recovery options like instant boot or the file level recovery or granular application item level recovery. So using any of these recovery, so you'll be able to restore the data and get instant access to your workloads. Second one is a Vembu's efficient storage management. So Vembu is one of only backup software in the market who has our own very own patented file system called Vembu Hive. So this is a virtual file system, so that is laid over your existing storage repository. So the functionality of this Vembu Hive is to increase the backup storage rate. So it will increase the read and the write speed of the your storage repository. So using this file system, so the backups are much faster and the recoveries are much more faster. Then we have a native tape backup support. If you want to store a copy of backup data into the tape mediums, like if you want to achieve a 3-to-1 backup strategy, so yes, you can do it using this native tape backup support of Vembu. So if you have a tape library, so you can connect your tape library to the Vembu server and send a copy of backup data and store it for the long-term archival process. And then we have this offset copy and for disaster recovery. So like I said earlier, using this Vembu offset DR or cloud DR, you can send a copy of backup data to the a secondary location. If something goes wrong with the primary backup server, so you can just log into this offset DR server or cloud DR server and you'll be able to restore the data from there. And next, yeah, so we have this inbuilt compression, encryption, and we have this advanced reports and email notification processes. So you will get an extensive report. So like, so when is the last backup and how much of compression happened, everything you can see detailed in our report. And the important thing is the encryption. All your backup data is compressed and encrypted both during the transfer and also at the storage repository. So by default, all your backup data is compressed and encrypted. However, we have an option. If you want to disable this compression or encryption, if you want to leverage on hardware level compression or deduplication, so you have an option to do that also. The last one is this verification. So it's one of the key feature of Vembu. So this is to verify the recoverability of your backup data. So you take a backup and how you confirm this backup is recoverable or not. So we have our own mechanism to do it. So we have this option called image integrity check. So using this, we perform 3-tier verification. The first one is the integrity of the data. The second one, we perform the mount to verify whether the backup data is mountable or not. And once the data is mounted, we'll try to use the Hyper-V or KVM and boot this VM. Okay. Once the machine is booted, we'll capture the screenshot of the login screen and send it to the administrator. So just to make sure the backup data is recoverable, and we do this starting from every 24 hours. So you can set up this verification process for every 24 hours to 7 hours. That means 1 day to 7 day. So based on the configuration, the data will be mounted, booted, and the screenshot is sent to the users. So this is the key features of Vembu BDR suite. So coming to the new features that are coming in this version 5.0. So yes, you can test this version 5.0. Yeah, not only test, so you can start using it for your production workloads, but only for this new deployments. So you can just go to vembu.com, download the version 5.0 RC, and you can start using for your production use. Okay, so these are the new features that are coming in version 5.0. The first one is the instant boot live migration. I hope everyone know about the instant boot functionality of Vembu. So using this instant boot option, if something goes wrong with the production workloads, so you can just boot your backup data almost instantly on any of the available hypervisors. So if you're installing this backup server on a Windows machine, so you can perform this on a Hyper-V, or else if you have a remote VMware, so you can also use this hypervisor to instantly boot the backup data. And yeah, once the backup data is used, restored as a VM, so you can use it for your production use. And all the changes that you're making on this instant boot session is recorded. So that was the previous instant boot recovery option. With this, in 5.0, so we are adding this live migration functionality. Okay, so in this live migration, once you perform the instant boot, so you can just start doing your work on this instant booted VM. So you in the background, so you can perform this live migration. So performing live migration will migrate the instant boot VM along with the changes you have made on it to your production environment. So once it is smooth, so you just a new VM is created on your production and you can use it for the production purposes. Okay, so that's the instant boot live migration. Yeah, that means simply, in simple words, it's just migrating the instantly booted VMs in the background to the production. Okay. The second one is the parallel VMs and disk processing. So previously, until 4.2, so only the backup jobs can run in parallel, not the VMs or disk inside a backup job. But now we are giving user to configure the number of backups that can run in parallel and number of VMs or disk inside a backup job that can be run parallelly. So you have this level of customization. So the backups, so if you have a very good amount of resource in your backup server, so you can just make use of it and you can run the backups in a much faster and a parallel manner. Okay, and a third important feature is the drive rotation. So this is one of the most awaited feature. So here after, so you can use your external drives to store your backup data, and you can also swap them on a periodical basis, regular basis. You can swap these drives. Okay, so that's the drive rotation. Next, we are introducing the backup job template. So this backup job template, or it's a set of a pre-configured settings. So you just create a template by selecting all the configurations that you need to create a backup job. Okay, so you just create a template and use this template when creating a backup job. For example, when creating a backup job, it asks you for two options: whether you want to create the backup job afresh, or you want to load the configuration from the templates. So you just select the template option, the second one, and you have to select the template. So you can create multiple backup job templates. So you just select one of the template. So the configurations are automatically loaded from those templates. So your job is just to select the VMs on the disk and create a job. So that's all. So here, by using this template, so you can save a lot of time in creating a new backup jobs. And the next one is a valid liftoff. Again, so this is one of the feature that I personally like. So this is for the users who are facing a frequent network disruptions in their network, or if they are sending the data to an offset location directly through the WAN. So for those users, this is one of the very good feature. So previously, if a network get interrupted, so during this image backup processing like a VMware or Hyper-V disk image, if the backup is through the WAN, okay, if the backup gets interrupted, so again the backup data will wait for some time. So if the connection is not established in this within this time limit, so we'll just time out it, and in the next schedule the backup will start from the scratch. But from version 5.0, we are introducing this feature called valid liftoff. If there is a image backup is getting transferred, during the backup transfer, if anything get interrupted and the backup, the tunnel is closed, you don't need to worry. When the backup runs for the next successive schedule, so it will start from it will not start from the scratch. It will start from valid left in the previous schedule. So only the unsent data are sent again to the backup server. So that is the valid liftoff. Next one is a synthetic full backup. So hereafter, you can create full backups by synthetically merging the previous incrementals and full backup schedules. Okay, so you don't need to create a new snapshot and create a new full backup. You can do it synthetically by merging all the previous incrementals and the full backups. Then we have this GFS retention. So Vembu previously have this GFS retention, but now we are improved it. So this is you'll get a lot of option in this version 5.0 GFS retention. So you can store this backup data for a longer period of time. So where you can create daily copies, weekly copies, monthly copies, half-yearly, quarterly, and yearly copies. And you can set a different timeline for creation of these GFS copies, and you can retain for any period of time that you want. And the next one is a multi-host backup. So if you add a single host, previously, if you want to create a backup job, so you have to select a single host, and you can select the virtual machines or disk from a single host. Okay, so you cannot create a backup job that contains VMs from multiple hosts. But in version 5.0, so you can, if you're having some 4 to 5 years size in your server, so you can create a backup job by selecting different VMs from multiple hosts in a single job. So that is the multi-host backup support. Then we are introducing the VM replication. So VM replication for the Hyper-V virtual machines. So previously, this replication functionality is available only for the VMware virtual machines. Now we are extending it to the Hyper-V VMs also. Then the application item level recovery. So previously in version 4.2 until 4.2, if you want to perform a granular recovery of an applications, so you have to make use of the Vembu's Universal Explorer tool. But now you don't need it anymore. From the BDR server UI itself, along with the recovery options, so you can see this application item level recovery. So you can perform the recovery, granular recovery of this application directly from the BDR server UI. And we are introducing the support for the SharePoint Online and Teams Online backup. Then we are introducing this Google Workspace backup. So previously you have this Microsoft 365 backup, but you cannot backup the SharePoint Online or Teams. Now you can backup it. And yeah, the Google Workspace backup is totally new, that is in version 5.0. Okay, so these are the new features that are coming in. Along with, we also bring a small enhancement to the existing features. So here are those enhancements. The first one, you can initiate the restore when the backup is in progress. So until 4.2, So when there is a backup in progress, so you have to wait until the backup gets completed, or you have to abort the backup job to perform the restore. Now you can do both of the things in parallel. And yeah, so similarly, if there is any backup job in progress at the time the offset copy won't run, now both of them can run in parallel. So yeah, the overall UI and the UX experience is improved in this 5.0, so that you can witness in a couple of minutes. So I have a demo setup. I can show how the new user interface looks. Then you can, so previously in until 4.2, so you have to specify the configuration for every time when you perform a Hyper-V full VM recovery, but now it will automatically take the original configuration. However, if you want to customize the configurations, you can do it. Then we have this backup window settings at backup job level. So for every single backup job, so you have an option to customize the window settings. Then we have this backup throttling support for this backups configured from the backup server. And we have the file level recovery for the dynamic disk. So previously only the basic disk are supported for the file level recovery. Now you can perform the file level recovery for the dynamic disk also. And yeah, so like I said earlier, you have an option to disable the compression and encryption when creating the repository itself. So if you set the compression and encryption disabled for a repository, so the data will be, the raw data will be sent to the storage repository. So this function will be useful when you're having a deduplication appliances, and if you want to leverage on this hardware level deduplication for the data reduction. So that is the another feature. And yeah, these are the major enhancement that is coming in 5.0. So there are a lot of features. I just picked some. If you want to get the more details, so you can just visit our release notes. So you can see the detailed the new features and functionalities that are coming in the version 5.0. Okay. Yeah, so with this, we can directly jump into the live demonstration. So I have a small setup with me, so I can show how the Vembu BDR suite works in action. So before that, I would like to let you know how you can download and use the Vembu BDR suite for your environment. So it's simple. So just go to vembu.com and click on this download button. So it will take you to the page where you can download the version 5.0 RC directly from the website. And yeah, please note that. So this is only for the production. This is only for the fresh installation. So if existing users who want to upgrade from their older version of Vembu BDR suite to 5.0, so they have to wait at least for a couple of weeks. So once the GA is released, so you can upgrade from the older version to the 5.0. Okay, so here we have some important links like the release notes, the system requirements, and supported platform. So please read this before getting into the installation. Or if you need any assistance, so you can feel free to contact us. So we are available to help you. Okay, so yeah, I have downloaded it and have already installed it on one of my server. Yeah, so the installation, it's a simple exe. You just have to download this exe. It comes around some 600 MB. So once it is downloaded, you can install it on your machine. The installation is very simple. So the installation will just take some 4 to 5 minutes. So once the installation is completed, so you are good to go with using this Vembu BDR suite. It's pretty simple. So Vembu is using the web-based console. So you can access the user interface of Vembu application from any machine through your browser. So you can access it just by entering the IP address of the machine where the backup server is installed, followed by the port number. So the default port number is 6060. However, during the installation, if you click on to the advanced settings, so you can change this port. You can choose any port that you want. Okay. So just log in. So again, the admin are the default username and password. You can still change it during the installation. Okay. So just give the username and password and click on sign in. So this is how the application will looks like. For the first time, it will automatically show you this getting started wizard, like this wizard you will get. So you can see the major steps. So before you configure the backup, first you have to register a server, Second, you have to configure the backup repository. Then you have to configure the add the data source, configure the backup, view the restore the backup, and view the reports. So these are the things. And however, if you need any assistance during this backup configuration or restore or reporting process, so you can directly refer to the user guide. So this user guide it's a very detailed user guide. So you can see everything in detail here. Okay, first we'll just directly go to the product. Yeah, so just click on this BDR backup repository and block storage. So it's the first thing that you have to do. You have to add a storage repository to store your backup data. So just click on create a new backup repository. So like we have 3 different repository options. So this rotation is a new addition. So you can create a simple repository or scale-out repository, or you can use this disk rotation to store the backup data in an external drive, and you can swap them on regular basis. Okay, and you're also bringing in this option to disable compression and encryption. So if you don't want to compress or encrypt the data, so you can use this option. Okay, the first thing after adding the storage repository, so yeah, here you can see, right? So this is a single user interface, so you can configure the backup for everything. So that is the major objective of this 5.0 release. So we are bringing in a comprehensive solution, like a true comprehensiveness to the backup and disaster recovery. Okay, in the single user interface, just by selecting this main menu, so you can configure the backup for AWS, you can configure the backup for Microsoft 365, and you can configure the backup for file servers, endpoints, and applications. Everything you can do it from here. So for this demonstration purpose, I'm going to configure a VMware backup for you. So just click on this main menu, and first you need to add your data stores. So, and it is a very, it's a sequential. First, you need to configure a storage repository in this BDR infrastructure. Then you have to add your data source. Just click on add a VMware vSphere. Just click on ESXi vCenter. So you have to use this option, add ESXi vCenter. You have to fill in like the detail of the ESXi vCenter server, like the IP address and the credential. So once you provide all this information, just click on save. Clicking on save will add the ESXi vCenter or ESXi vCenter to this Vembu application. And once it is added, you are good to go with the backup configuration. So that is the third step. Click on backup, click on configure backup, click on VMware vSphere. So here the option. So you can configure the backup by create without a template. So you have to select the setup from the scratch, or you can create and using an existing template. Okay. If you already have a template, so you can use this template. So, but I will help you. I will explain how this without using a template. We'll start from scratch. So just give a name for the backup job, and you have to select the storage repository. So I'm having only one storage repository. So if you have multiple storage repository, you can choose one for this backup job. So then you can just give a description if you need it. Then click on next. So the next step, so you have to select the virtual machines that you want to backup. Just select the virtual machines. So in the next step, so if you want to exclude any disk from the these VMs, so you can exclude it. So just by using these options. Then it's a guest processing. So if you have any applications running inside your VM, so you can set up the guest processing. So this will check for the stability of the application writers and take a consistent snapshot for the backup. You can also truncate the transaction logs optionally. Then you have an option to quiz the VMs. So if you want to quiz the VMs before the backup, so you can enable this option. By default, it is enabled for all the VMs. However, if you want, you can just disable it. Then you have to select the scheduling. So you can run the backups manually one time every few hours, daily, weekly, monthly, or after backup. You can change the backups. Like you have multiple incremental scheduling option, and you have this option to create a synthetic full backups. So you can create the synthetic full backup weekly or monthly. And then you have this additional full backups option. And you just have the advanced scheduling here. So if you want to set up a backup window, so you can set up the backup window only for this backup job. Then click on next. So in the screen, you need to specify the retention policy for your backup job. So how long period you want to retain the backup job. So that is, if you didn't select enable this, so we'll keep the data forever. So you can just enable it, and we have two different retention policies. The first one is a basic retention. So you can retain your backup data based on the number of versions or the number of days, or else you can opt for this GFS retention, where you can retain the weekly copies and monthly copies, quarterly copies and yearly copies. So this is for a long term. If you want to retain like 10 daily copies and 3 weekly copies and 2 monthly copies or 1 quarterly copies. Likewise, if you have any policies, so you can do it or achieve it using this GFS retention. Then click on next. So here's this encryption option. By default, all your backup data is encrypted using this AES 256-bit encryption algorithm. If you want to encrypt using your own key, so you can set up your own key, your custom key as an encryption password. Okay, and note that you need to specify this password when you perform a recovery or editing this backup job. Then have this proxy. So if you want to distribute the load of this backup server, so you can make use of the proxy. So you first need to use install this proxy on one of your machine, and you can select that particular proxy for this backup job processing. Then yeah, that's all. Just create review the configuration and click on save to create a new backup job. So the backup job will create it and it will run as per the schedule. So you can see all the backup job in this backup list backup job page. Okay. Next, you can also create replication. So this will replicate the virtual machines from one ESXi host to another ESXi host. Likewise, in the backup also, you can create a backup job for the Hyper-V, or you can create a backup job for Microsoft Windows. And this replication, so you can also set up a job to replicate the virtual machines from one Hyper-V host to another Hyper-V host. Okay, if something goes wrong with the source VM, so you can just use this failover and failback option to spin the replica VM, and you can continue with your production works. So that is the VM. And the tape archival, so the tape archival is for this RC release, is not available currently, and it will be available soon in the upcoming releases of Vembu. And coming to this recovery, so we have multiple recovery options to recover the backup data. For example, if this is a VMware, so let's just take this VMware, so just click on restore. So you have multiple options here, like you can perform this instant boot. If something goes wrong, you can just boot the backup data instantly using this instant boot. And once the data is booted, so you can continue your work on this instant booted VM, and parallelly in the background, so you can initiate the live migration. So you just initiate the live migration. The instant boot VM will be automatically migrated in the background to the production. So once it is done, so you can just kill this instant boot VM and you can continue your work on the newly migrated VM. Okay, then we have this full VM recovery. It's a disk mount, so this will mount the backup data to the local drives, local disk management service, and it attaches as a local drive. You can just browse and you will be able to take the in the important files and folders from there. Then we have this disk level recovery or disk download VMs or disk option, and we have a lot of granular recovery options. So if you have an Exchange or SQL or Active Directory or SharePoint running inside your VM, so you can granularly recover the application data from this user itself. And then we have the file level recovery. You can granularly recover the files and folders directly from the user interface of Vembu backup server. Okay, so these are the multiple recovery options that are available. And yeah, so this is the option to perform. So once you perform this instant boot, so you can see all the instant booted VM here, just by a single click, so you can initiate the live migration. Okay, then coming to reports, so we have a very intuitive report. So here you can see this is the dashboard, so job dashboard. So you can see the status of all the VMs. So if there is any backup job failure in a particular day, so that is marked as a red here. You can just monitor all the backup activities on the single dashboard. So this is the job level, or if you have this VM or host level, so you can also see it from here. So okay, when you click on this, it will show you the detailed the report of the particular schedule. Okay, and we have multiple other recovery reporting options like race and job schedules. Okay, so a lot of things you can see it from this report. Yeah, and you can also set up an email notification. So if you want to notify any of the operations that are happening in the backup server to your email, so you can set up the email notification, and you can also set up an offset copy DR. So if you want to send a copy of backup data to an offset data center or cloud, so you can set up using this offset or cloud DR. Okay, so just enable this, and you can send a copy. If you have your own cloud DR, means if you have your own data center, then you just click on the second option. So download this Vembu offset DR in one of your computer and enter the IP address of the offset DR server here. So all the data from the primary backup server will get replicated to this offset server. If something goes wrong with the primary backup server, just log into the offset server and you'll be able to reach to the data from there. The same recovery options which are available in the primary backup server is also there in the offset DR server, or else you can send a copy of backup data to Vembu cloud. So that means you have one copy at local and the second copy to Vembu cloud. Okay, so this is how you can create a backup job for VMware or Hyper-V or Windows machine. And coming to this AWS, so just click on this AWS tab. So if you want to back up your EC2 instances, you can simply do it. Again, just click on AWS. Click on this data source first. You have to add your AWS account. So here you need 4 major keys to add your AWS account. So first you just need to give any name. Then you have the authentication type. So that is default set to I am user. Then you have to provide the access key and the secret key. Access ID and the secret key, so that you can get it from your AWS console. And here are the steps to get the access ID and the secret key. You just get it from your account, enter it and click on save. So once you saved, your account will be added here. Once the account is added, it's simple. Just click on backup, click on configure backup. So it is a user interface for this backup creation. First, you need to select the account and you need to select the region. So just select one of the region and click on list instance. When you click on list instance, it will list out all the instances that is running in the particular region of your AWS account. So once it is loaded, just select the virtual machines. And if you want to set up this application via processing, so you have to select the right checkbox. And if you want to run any custom script, so you can set up the custom script and create a new backup job for the instances. Okay, so yeah, just wait, it's loading. Yeah, it's now loaded. So just select the virtual machines you want to backup. So if you want this application via processing, so you can do it. And after, just click on configure backup. So you have to just give a backup job name. You have to select the scheduling. You have to select the retention policy and the retry attempts, and then click on save the backup. So the backup job will be created, and you can see all the backup job in this list backup job page. Okay, yeah, this is how you can create a backup job. If you want to run this backup job on demand, so just come to this page, click on this arrow, so it will immediately run the backup job. Again, so we support multiple recovery options. If something goes wrong, so just click on recovery, click on restore. So you can perform this entire instance level recovery, or you can recover just a single volume. So the file level recovery is coming in the upcoming releases of Vembu. Again, we have the various reporting and management functionalities in this AWS. So next is the Office 365 backup. Again, it's pretty simple. So first, you need to add your data source. Like you can add your Microsoft 365 or Google account. So just click on this Microsoft 365. So first you need to click on this button. So you have to fill in this organization name, tenant ID, application ID, and application password that you can get it from the Azure console. And the right side of the screen, so you can see the steps to generate these IDs and the password. So get all these IDs from your Azure portal, click on save. And once you save, your account is added. Once your account is added, you're good to go with the backup configuration. Just click on backup, click on configure backup, click on Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace. Yeah, similarly, you can add your Google Workspace also and create a backup for it. Just click on Microsoft 365. So first you need to give a job name. So just give, I just give test. So you can create, you have to select the storage repository to store the backup data. Then click on next. So here you need to select the organization. So if you have multiple organization, you have to select the organization. Then you have this option, backup the entire organization, or you have to select the individual entities. I'm just selecting the selected objects, then click on next. So here you need to select the domain. I'm just selecting the domain, and you need to select the users. You want to select all the users or you want to select the specific users. If you click on specific users, it will list out all the users. So just select the mailbox that you want to backup. So here you can select the data like the mails, the OneDrive, calendar, and contact items. After selecting it, just click on next. Here is a group mailbox. If you have any group OneDrive or group conversation, so you can select them for the backup. Specific group I'm selecting, so you can select all the group conversation, group OneDrive, and group calendars. Then click on next. So it's a SharePoint site. So if you have any SharePoint site, so you can just select all the sites that you want to backup. Then you need to select the teams. If you have any team chat history, just select the teams that you want to backup. Then you need to select the schedule for everything. So how frequently you want to run the backups. So frequency starting from every few hours, like you can start from every 1 hour. Okay, so you can run the backup daily or weekly, and you can also specify the replay attempts at the bottom. Then click on next. So here you need to select the compression. If you want to compress the backup data, just click on enable and just click on next to go to the retention setting. So here you have the settings to set up the retention for each and every application, like for mailbox, contacts, calendar, SharePoint, group mailbox, teams, everything. You can select the specific retention policies for everything in separate, and then click on next to review this. Just review the configuration and click on save the backup. So this will connect your Microsoft 365 cloud and create a backup job for you. Okay. If something goes wrong, just click on this recovery button. So can you initiate the recovery? So just select the backup jobs. Just click on restore. So you have multiple options here. You can just restore the entire mailbox, or shared mailbox, or SharePoint item, or Teams. Just select the user mailbox and click on next. So you have to select the organization. Then you have to select the version, reach your recovery point. I'm having one version in this backup job. Then you have to select the mailbox. So this is the mailbox that I backed up. So you can restore the entire mailbox, or you can restore the individual mails. Okay, so you restore the OneDrive items or calendars, contacts. Then click on next. I'm just selecting this entire mailbox here. Then click on next. So you can restore it to the same account or different user account. With the same account, yeah, you have to just give a description for this restore and click on it. And next, review and initiate the restore operation. Or else, if you want to select to restore to a different user mailbox, so just select this option and you have to select a different user. Just select the user that you want to restore and click on apply and click on restore. So it will restore the selected objects to this different user. Or else you can also download a PSD format. Okay. So this is how the 5.0 looks like. So if you want to get started with testing the 5.0, so just go to Vembu.com, just download the application, install it on your machine, and get started with testing. So once you're good, you can use it for the production deployments also. So yeah, so we are going to release the GA in a couple of weeks. So once the GA is released, all the existing users can also upgrade to the latest version of Vembu. Okay. Yeah, so the next tab is the file server endpoint backup. So if you just want to backup your file servers or endpoints or application, so you can just do it. So here you need to add data source. First, you have to download the BDR client. So this the BDR client is for file server, endpoint, and application. So you have to just download this BDR client and you have to first install it on your computer. So the BDR clients are available for different operating systems. Like it is available for 64-bit Windows, 32-bit Windows, Debian Linux, Red Hat Linux, and Mac. So right now it is available only for the 64-bit Windows and Debian Linux. So just download it, install it on a computer, and once this BDR client is installed, so it is having a separate user interface. Again, this is a web-based console. So you can just open this web-based console, configure the backup for your file servers or endpoints or application. Again, all the backup data will come and get stored in this backup server. If something goes wrong, you can just hit the recovery icon and you can start the restore operation. Okay. So this is how comprehensive the Vembu BDR Suite version 5.0 is. Yeah, to get a hands-on on this, just go ahead, download and test the application. Okay, so yeah, so just go to website. Here you can see everything in detail. You have this user guide to refer. If you are stuck somewhere, you just refer to this user guide, or you can contact our support. So we are available 24/7 to assist you. Also, if you need a one-to-one interaction, so you can also feel free to set up a demo. So one of our representative will get in touch with you, schedule a call, and help you in setting up the Vembu BDR suite in your environment. Okay, so that's all from my side. So yeah, thank you for your time on joining this webinar. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of questions coming into this, and my colleague Pranav is answering your questions. However, if you're left, if you're not able to answer your questions immediately, please don't worry. So we will send our responses to you by an email. Okay, so thank you everyone once again. Thank you. So if you need any assistance, so you can just call into our number, or you can directly drop a mail to vembu-sales@vembu.com or vembu-support@vembu.com. So our team is happy to help you all the time. Thank you everyone. Thanks for your time. Thanks for showing this interest on this webinar. So, and have a nice day. Bye bye.